Alright, hello there, welcome to this week's video. Unfortunately, it's a bit later in the day than I would usually post. That is partially the fact that I've been looking for a job, and I had to work on that, as well as go out and hand in some resumes. Also, because recently the usual thing that I'd use for recording videos has stopped working. What I actually mean by stopped working is it does not allow me to record Scratch. And I tried to get around this by simply looking it up in the taskbar and all that, but when I made my 14-minute long video, it showed the back on my desktop and my mouse just zooming around the screen and me speaking about what I'm doing, which, as you'd probably say, is not very great. Um, It would have been good for April Fool's Day, I guess, but it's at least 2 weeks later, as is the 18th. But let's get to this week's video, which is Scratchception, or Scratch and Scratch. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean literally I code a few blocks into Scratch. 5 in total. Well, in reality 4, however, I split one to 2 pieces for functionality. So 5. Anyway, let's get to it. So, how does this work, first of all? Well, it mainly revolves around messages, sending and retrieving, and running. Originally, I used to use variables, which would then say, okay, if you are 1, then run this segment, but I realized how to use the broadcasts, so now I'm a bit happier about that, and it does its job somewhat decently. So let's begin. Let's go over each block. As you all know, this is the when flag is clicked. It will go ahead and run the program. Unfortunately, compared to the original Scratch, you cannot click on it and have it run separately from the rest. However, there's this little flag here. We click on that, and this little runner here, which is an error I made, is going to run it for you. Another thing is that if you don't want this block, or per se you have 80,000 of these, you can put them on this non-scratch based trash can and delete it. So next we go to the when space key is pressed. Unfortunately, I have not worked out how to do it in here yet. I'll try to figure that out soon. And as you probably know, you press the flag, then you press space, and voila, you have a runner. And you can do this as many times as you want. However, you can only do it once the flag is pressed. See? Nothing, and then I press it, and then I press space, now it runs. And then we have the main and only action we have, which is move 10 steps. Now what would you think it would affect? The garbage can? The flag? All these random blocks? No, it affects this ball here. Or, I don't even know what color that is. Circle, like a dark pink mixed with a maroon. I know that's all red, but still. And when you run it, see it move 10 steps. Let's run it again. Another 10 steps. And again, and again, and again. Finally, let's move on to the loop, or the forever loop. There are 2 segments, the top and the bottom segment. And all we gotta do is put a couple blocks in between here. And this one's been a bit buggy since I only made it like an hour ago, and it has already been modified in size for availability. Yeah, see, that didn't work. However, we can squish it down a bit for now, which may make it work. See, as you saw there, it only did run 3 times, but that is because of the current code segment I have plugged in for the runner. which is this one, which I actually showed how I made in the last video, but of course it was futile, as it still didn't do its job. Later on, I will definitely figure out how to get this stuff working properly, but unfortunately we are currently stuck with what we got. Now what can you do with this? Well, as you can tell, not much. However, I'm going to go over some of the other features, or some little tips here and there. So, these, you may ask, well, Jacob, when you pull this out, it makes a clone. Yes and no. It does make a clone, but the clone is actually still this one. And now the clone is this one, and this one, and this one here, I think, is the original. As you can see, you moved this. Now, why does that happen, you may ask? Well, that is because originally my idea for how to run this code was going to be when you held on it, or when you clicked on it and you moved it with you, it would literally go with you. You would grab it and it would come out here, leaving behind the original sprite. However, of course, that doesn't work, because it doesn't actually allow you to grab the newest sprite. No, it only allows you to grab the original, which isn't a bad thing in this case, because it still works. So I can still take out as many as I want, and the reason why that works is because of these background dots, which you can see right there. It will only allow you to create a clone when you touch the sprite that is on that dot, or in the case here, that line. I was having some issues with colors at the time because for some strange and unknown reason my background decided to randomly change to Sprite 8, which I never understand why that happens. And it's an ongoing weird bug, glitch, thingamabob that keeps it happening. But anyway, let's move on. Now, can you make some awkward things with this? Heck yes, you can. At least most of the time. So, for example, you can compress like 1,000 of these things in upon each other. Now, I'm not saying this works. And frankly, I severely doubt that it does. And I do also note, yes, I'm slowly moving to the left, bit by bit by bit, and this is definitely not how things are supposed to work. You're not supposed to be able to go after the forever loop. Let's give it a try anyway. See, it may not seem crazy, but still, in regular Scratch or Scratch itself, you should not ever be able to do anything like this. But, as previously said, if you do not want these, get rid of them. That's really about it. This was a test version I only made a few hours ago and then updated like 2 hours ago, so there isn't actually much to this currently. Now later on, of course, I will add more blocks. I will make it definitely more possible to utilize. I will add dragging to here, which would be very helpful. But for now, this is just a test build and nothing more. Next week, I will probably show some bugs I fixed or some new ideas I've added. Anyway, I hope you had a good day. Hope you have a good one tomorrow as well. Hope your family's alright. And have a good day.